big news of the day, Colin Kaepernick is going to hold a workout for NFL teams on Saturday. Rob G., can you give us the details?
That's right. NFL clubs were informed earlier on Tuesday that a private workout will be held for Colin Kaepernick in Atlanta. The session will include on-field work and interviews. All teams are invited to attend, and video of both the workout and any interviews will be made available to them. No media access, however. Now, again, Colin Kaepernick and his reps have been saying for a very long time that he's ready to play football, and this is his first big step forward in that regard to get back to the NFL.
Yeah, quick take by me. While I would love to see Colin Kaepernick in the NFL, I don't feel like this is going to change anything. I don't think this is huge news because the reason Colin Kaepernick is in the league has nothing to do with his ability or lack thereof. NFL teams are not sitting there that need a quarterback wondering if Colin Kaepernick's good enough to be in the league. They've signed Matt Moore, who was out of the league and coaching high school football, the Kansas City Chiefs. Josh McCown, signed by the Philadelphia Eagles. He had retired. I know Colin Kaepernick at 32 years of age was better than those guys, and every NFL executive knows it too. Now, the one thing that could help him, there's going to be an interview too. You better believe one of the questions is going to be what? Will you stand for the national anthem? Now, I think if he doesn't stand, it's hypocritical of NFL owners and teams to keep him out of the league because you got players, Eric Reed, Kenny Stills, who aren't standing. Michael Bennett was in the league not standing. So that should not keep him out of the league. However, they see him as the leader of it, the guy that started it. Some of these guys would not sign him if he doesn't stand for the national anthem. If he says he'll stand, then maybe he will get another shot, Rob. But right now I'm not that optimistic because I don't think people have wondered if he's got the ability. I think they just didn't want to sign him.
Me and you are going to split here. I think this is significant. Not only that, Chris, I believe this is a doorway for him to enter back into the NFL. And here's the difference between all the other stuff in this. This is the first time that this is an NFL-sanctioned event where they are the ones who issued this letter out to the league. And see, before, I believe that teams were skeptical and didn't want to do it because they felt it was going against the league and didn't want to take part in anything that had Colin Kaepernick.
Okay.
They've given they've signed off on this because this is NFL scouts. This is run by the NFL, this thing. A letter went out on league letterhead saying that everybody's invited to come, whether they want to or not. This, to me, opens the door where the NFL has said, we sanction that this guy can get a tryout. Before, it wasn't that, and I think that's where, whether the NFL said it or not, teams felt like the league's not behind this. We know what's going on. We've heard from all these other people. Time has passed now, and now the league, right, is saying, take a look at this guy. We're going to set it up, and it's going to be under our rules and our scouts. I believe Colin Kaepernick will be back in the National Football League. I'm not saying he's going to be a starting quarterback, a star making millions of dollars. I believe there will be a job. I believe that this is a softening by the NFL, which opens the door because there's always been renegade owners who are looking to do things different from the league. And I'm telling you, this could be a big one for some owner who decides to dip into this pool. I believe he'll be back in the league.
Well, I think what you're saying, and it's a good point. I think you're saying the NFL has removed the scarlet letter from him, so to speak.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I hope you're right.
I really believe that, Chris.
He deserves to be in the league. I actually do think he can start. I mean, who knows how much rust has accumulated over 3 years, but I do think he's better than a lot of these quarterbacks we see playing on Sundays. And his game, just since he's retired, the game has moved a little closer to his skill set.
Which
running
is
the
what he used
football,
to do.
Right.
And he was a damn good at it in the beginning of his career. And he's not old. 32 is not old.
You see my point, too,
yes.
though. It's not that. I think you made a great point with the league being behind this. Those owners that kind of felt like, look, I believe with all my heart that I don't believe the owners talked to each other and said, look, let's not sign him.
Right, but
there was an unwritten or unspoken feeling among the owners, like
pushback,
right?
And
especially
you just
when
knew it.
Trump gets involved,
right? This is what I'm saying. And now when the league says, no, we're setting this up, and if you're a football team and organization, you'd be making a big mistake not to at least take a look and send a scout. That would be, I'm sure, ridiculous. You could have an injury or somebody go down next week. We've seen all the quarterbacks go down this year.
Right.
So why wouldn't you take a look? It doesn't cost you anything to take a look. You might go, this is what we're doing in Baltimore. This is what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like,
here's another interesting point, Rob. Like I said, one of the questions in the interview is going to be, will you stand for the national anthem? Will you have any problem with Colin Kaepernick if he says, I'll stand?
No, I'm not going to have a problem at this point. He made his point, and he was courageous. I respect that. And at this point, if he wants to get back into football and continue to do the things that he was doing to bring attention to this awful epidemic that was going on, and for the people who say that he didn't solve anything, they couldn't be more wrong, Chris. And I'm going to tell you.
He started a discussion, and also a lot of work did get done.
Chris, didn't it stop? Do you remember how bad? I'm not saying completely no, but I'm saying at that point when it was like an epidemic in this country. It was like, it seemed like almost every other week.
I would have to see numbers on that to know if it's
but I'm talking
lessened.
The high profile of what we were seeing.
Attention to it, right? No doubt that he brought attention to it.
I can't remember the last time I saw it.
They set up, even though he's kind of against this group, the Players Coalition that took the $90 million from the league. They have done some really good things. They've changed laws in Florida and other places. So a lot has been accomplished, through what Colin Kaepernick did. I'm with you. If he stands for the national anthem, I would not have a problem with it. I think he could get a lot done. I would be bothered if when he gets back in the league and he's asked about some of these things, I would be bothered if he mutes himself.
No, I don't believe he'll do that.
Make comments or refuse to speak about it. But if he goes to a team, stands for the anthem, but when the opportunity comes or when he's asked about it, continues to speak out against the police brutality and the injustice, then I'm all with him. And I would hope, particularly African Americans, that if he stands, they don't go against him or turn against him and think he's sold out, because he's not selling out by standing for the national anthem.
I just think I think there's a real chance. That's my gut. The original is that somebody is going to give him an opportunity, and now that the NFL has green-lighted it, whether or not they said, sign him, by having an official event with the NFL involved, Chris, this is that doubt chip one owner might have had, the league doesn't want him around. Can't say that now.
He's definitely good enough. And again, obviously, I haven't seen him play in 3 years. There's no doubt in my mind he's good enough to be playing in the NFL. And if I'm a team like the Bears,
dude,
where I've got a defense.
And you got a defense, you can't waste it.
I'm looking at this dude.
You can't waste it, because your window will open and close before you know it. And then what? You wasted a great defense.
No doubt about it.
You can win with an average quarterback when you have a defense. They don't even have an average quarterback.
All right, 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. Is this the first step towards Colin Kaepernick getting back in the NFL? Also, how will you feel if he stands for the national anthem? We will continue the conversation with you next. Let's start with Andre in Massachusetts. Andre, welcome to the Odd Couple.
Thanks for taking my call. I'm proud of Kaepernick for having this workout, and I think it's an opportunity for him to get back in the NFL, possibly this year, but if not this year, then definitely next year. Reason being is this. Listen, there's 11 teams in the NFL that have 3 wins or less. That's more than a third of the NFL.
Yep.
Okay? It's not just the Bengals and the Redskins. There's a lot of teams that, are just not in the playoff race or even close to the playoff race, basically, and they could all use a Colin Kaepernick. So for him or for these teams that, frankly, as you guys have said, need Kaepernick. And, it's not just like the Bears that Rob brought up that should have brought in Cam Newton, and now they wasted their season.
Yep.
Great defense. These teams that you're rebuilding. There's no other way to put it. And if you're a rebuilding team, a talent like Colin Kaepernick, that is a huge step in the right direction for you. So you would be doing your franchise a disservice, as you said, if you didn't at least show up to this event. And I'm just proud of Kaepernick. These are the type of concrete steps that a lot of people were saying he needed to take in his protest that he's taking. And then back to your point about the national anthem, I don't care if he stands or sits. In the NBA, the NBA has a rule. You have to stand for the national anthem.
Right.
Okay? And so what he's doing and what other people are doing in terms of the national anthem, there's other leagues that are supposed to be so progressive that have, frankly, more conservative policies. That's his decision.
No, that's a good point.
No, you're right,
I agree
Andre.
totally. We've said that before
and a
in
good
the
call.
past.
Absolutely. They woke and they all this and they got
They stand in. It's
exactly.
fine. I mean, Eddie in New York, you're on with Chris and Rob.
Go ahead, Eddie.
What's up, boys? What's happening?
How are you?
Let me get on this point. As a white guy that grew up in a majority black school and neighborhood, enrolled with the brothers.
Yes.
First of all, Colin Kaepernick using the afro to get attention. The afro is about resistance. Okay, where was that afro back 20 years ago for him and the protest?
Yeah,
It's
but
not
people,
like
Eddie, people can grow. And I think Colin Kaepernick, and I've talked to people, he started reading more, learning more African-American history, read the autobiography of Malcolm X, and he woke up to a lot of the injustices. He didn't grow up knowing all that stuff,
and
so
Eddie,
he changed.
And Eddie, here's the other thing, too. Seriously, you got to be honest. All right, he might have been in a controlled environment, right, when you're a kid and all that. But now as a black man out on the street in these times and days, you start to see when people look at Colin, they don't see a kid who's mixed. They see a black kid. They see a black person. And then I think you wake up to that and you realize I'm just like everybody else out here. And I think that's what wakes you up to your upbringing and what's going on. Because when you look at if Colin Kaepernick was outside your window and you were an old white woman, you would pick up the phone and you would call the police and say, there's a black guy outside my window. That's what you would say.
Well, he is black. I mean, he's not, Eddie, go ahead and finish your point, though.
First of all, he didn't grow up in the black struggle.
Right.
Okay?
No, he didn't.
But he's still black. When he still goes outside, he's recognized as a black man.
Right.
I guarantee you, growing up through high school and through college, he wasn't recognized as a black man until he grew his.
First of all, you can't guarantee. So people didn't think he was black? Are you saying that?
They didn't think
in
he was
college,
white.
He joined the black fraternity. He's in the same fraternity as me.
Right.
It's an all-black fraternity. So we can't act like he didn't identify as black. He just came into what we call consciousness.
Right. There's a consciousness that comes with it.
Most blacks grow up not really knowing black history.
And then all of a sudden,
Then you learn it in college a lot of times, or you come about it yourself through reading different books. You wake up.
I'll give you one, too, and thanks for the call there, Eddie. I remember watching Roots when it first came on, Chris. That was a rude awakening.
Right.
I remember going to school the next day feeling like a different person.
I
was
right? Younger.
You were younger, but you know.
But yeah, that was
eye opening. I didn't know all that. I mean, I
we
really
don't learn
didn't.
it in school, and if we do, it's a very condensed, short, whitewashed version. Let's go to Brian
in
Victorville, California.
What's up, Brian?
Hey, fellas, how you guys doing?
Good,
Fine.
good.
Oh, you guys are the best. But
Thank you.
So here's my thing with Colin Kaepernick. When he was kneeling for the anthem, I didn't necessarily have a problem with that, right? He had the right to.
Okay.
What I had the problem, and my issue was when he was wearing those pig cop socks at practice, and I just felt like he was promoting that all cops are pigs and bad cops.
Bad decision, Brian. Bad decision.
And he made some mistakes. There's no doubt about it.
Brian, here's my only thing. So you were offended by the socks. So you were offended by any of the felons and guys who are in the NFL who have beat up women, sexually assaulted women, vehicular homicide, all these other guys who have gotten second and third chances. Are you offended by those guys?
Well, here's the thing.
I'm asking you, yes or no. Are you offended?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I mean,
but they get to play,
I
though.
grew up with a single mother, so anybody that puts a hand on a woman is just a coward.
Yes.
But that's a whole nother topic. So here's the thing. So I do believe in second chances, right? So obviously I wouldn't necessarily mind if he played football again. It wouldn't ruin my day. You know, who knows? I might root for the guy. But I think this goes deeper. You know, it's all about accountability and taking responsibility. I mean, I had trouble in the law in the past. Thank God I turned my life around. But in the past, I would talk a lot to cops. Today, I understand that I had a part in everything. So,
Brian, thanks for the call. Appreciate that.
Let's go to Marty in Kentucky. Marty on with the Odd Couple. What's happening?
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, man?
Marty.
Hey, there was a caller just a few calls ago said something that disturbed me. I grew up in an all-white community, and we had one black kid in this community, and he didn't grow up in the type of atmosphere that guy was referring to, but when we were in high school, he dealt with a lot of hate, regardless of how he grew up.
Right. So no doubt about it, Marty, and I don't doubt it.
That caller doesn't. I
to
just
say
totally
if you didn't
disagree
grow
with
up
that.
in a black neighborhood,
Right.
you didn't experience racism. You may have experienced more.
And he was very culturally white. His mom was white. He went hunting with me. He was country, but he still dealt with hate.
Yeah.
No.
And anyway, to get on the subject, one thing I'd like to know is who's responsible for this, because I'd love to know if Jay-Z had a part of this, because Rob Parker was really wearing him out, but it looks like some things are going in the right direction for the NFL.
No,
Yeah.
I'm happy because
That's a good point. I hadn't even thought about that. Marty brought up Jay-Z. I mean, we haven't seen him linked to this.
Well, he didn't talk
But
to
who
Kaepernick
knows?
before this thing happened.
Right.
That's the thing. So I'm not so sure that this is his thing or not, but I'm not taking it away from him
Right.
if it is, but I'm not so sure.
Hey, it's the Odd Couple. I'm Chris. He is Rob, and we want to encourage all of you to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
That's right. You know, you can listen to us on the radio, and now you can watch us as well, and it's fun.
No question about it. And remember, oh yeah!